Okay, so take two with the citation. So, cable guard came loose, and that moved all my sights out to the, moved all the arrows out to the right. So basically it was moving my sight inwards. Okay, so part of that's to do with the cams and whatever, it changes stuff. But it changed my picture when I was shooting, so I could see the string differently. But maybe I was seeing the actual cables, was what I was seeing. So anyway, so I went to the shop and I took the grub screws out. They were like so little, they're like tiny little grub screws. There was no Loctite on those screws. So normally when PSE do things, like when they build bows, they normally put a bit of this blue Loctite stuff on the nuts, and it stops them vibrating loose, basically. Now I don't know if they normally fit them to these cable guard rods or not, but I know they normally do it to lots of the bolts on the bow to stop them coming loose. Anyway, I took them out and I've got a grub screw little box at the shop, and I found some which were longer. So the ones I put in here are longer. I put a bit of Loctite on them. So touch wood, they don't come loose again. So put in longer screws so there's more thread. And you can see now, well, I don't know if you can see, but anyway, they're almost near the top. So there's a little bit where the other ones are down quite a way. So it's a better size grub screw, so I don't think the ones PSE are using are big enough. I think they should be using longer ones so there's more grip on the thread. So we're back at 18 again, and we're going to try this again and see if it was just me, and sort of see how it goes. Because I did like the way the bow shot. I felt like I was going to shoot good with it. There's a bit more wind around now, but I'm under a bit of shelter, so let's see how it shoots. Now when I shoot, the bow jumps forward in my hand a bit like the Supra. I'm going to say not as much as the Supra, but it's very controllable, if that makes sense. I did a review on an Elite Basin the other day, and when it shot, I just didn't feel like I had any control. It just felt different every time out of my hand. But this feels very much the same. It feels good. Like it feels nice. The draw length still feels a little bit short for me, but it's not bad, and I would probably try it half an inch longer. I can't see where these arrows are going, so. So when you're choosing a bow 36 or 40 inches, for me, the 36 inches got slightly different string angle. I really can't tell the difference in string angles. The bow's a little bit lighter, so this one's I think 4.9, where the 40 inches 5.2. It feels very precise. Like it feels the same every time I shoot it. I'm just moving this little thing down because sometimes it's getting my eye. And the 60 pounds, the first time I draw it back, and I probably saw it on the test, it felt quite heavy, but then once your muscles get warmed up, it feels easier, and the same occurs with a recurve, which is why they have the stretchy bands to warm up your muscles. This bow, like when I was preparing the video for the last review, the Citation 36, I shot both bows. I shot the EM and I shot the SE. The SE is on 60 pound, the EM's on 55 pounds, and they shot the same speed. But the noise out of the EM was significantly more than the SE, which is really interesting. You could see it when you did the volume. With the EM, it peaked out of this noise scale. With the SE, it was only like halfway up the noise scale on the actual shot. Quite different. I just feel like I've got this shoulder up a bit, and I really want to get that shoulder down. The bow holds very steady. There's a bit of wind, and the bit of wind just came up then. And it was sitting on the 10 beautifully, and then some wind came up, and I was like, I know the shot's about to go off, because I'm shooting back tension. And I didn't want to be thrown away by the wind. It holds incredibly steady on the center. I mean, bows will hold steadier the more you shoot. The more you shoot, the more your muscles will build up and the steadier you'll get. But this, for me, it's just sitting on the 10. It's really quite... I have no stabilizers. It's very good. So normally when you aim, I can remember when I started shooting. I was shooting a few years ago, and when I used to aim, my pin used to do this, and people would, especially for indoor, my pin would be half the time in the 9, and I always found it amazing that people shoot 300s because half the time my pin was sitting in the 9. With this, my pin is really not leaving the 10 with no stabilizers. So it's really getting back to me and executing a good shot. I mean, it's not even getting a twitch. It's incredibly stable. Did you see I don't know if you follow Stefan Hansen on Facebook, anyway, posted a picture of a bow blanked out. He said, which bow am I going to be shooting for next year? And this is the time of the year when all shooters change bow companies and everyone thought he was going to go to Hoyt. Anyway, he's shooting a Citation now. I'm not sure which one he's shooting, but he's shooting a Citation. I'd be interested to see which one it is, whether it's the 40 or 36 and with which cam he's shooting. This is shooting just really nice. I'm going to be really keen to shoot some scores with this bow to see what sort of scores I shoot. I mean, it just holds incredibly well. Now, I've shot pretty much most of the PSEs along the time. I shot the Expression. Expression was like a bit spongy to shoot, and when you shot the strings, they were, I'm going to say, a bit spongy. When you sort of shot them, they sort of twanged a bit. This is just, it feels so precise, and it just aims so well. Let's go down and see how that group is. So look at the group. I'm going, oh look, it's a bit spread, and I look at it up close. I've got a couple down low. That means I went up into my face a little bit higher, or I dropped my arm. I'm guessing I went in a bit higher into my face. So when I'm locking in, I push it up higher. So a little bit of pressure will drop a low arrow. I could feel myself doing it, and with these other ones, I didn't. I actually held it. I reduced the pressure a bit on my chin. But that group, with a $20 sight, a $20 whisker biscuit, not tuned, that's awesome. And there's no flyers out to the side. Now what we'll do, just to see if the thing worked, we're going to take the cable slide off and make sure that bar is still solid in place. Well, I think the cable guard's going to be fine, but if you've got either this cable guard or a carbon cable guard, whatever you've got, because sometimes you've got the carbon cable guard, it does go loose. Those two grub screws kind of drill into the carbon and it does go loose. Just take the pressure off, the little slides like that, and then you can feel this is tight, and I think it'll be fine now. So that's the Citation 36. The next one, when you see me shoot this bow will be set up for target, and we'll do a video on setting this bow up for target, setting up how I set up the D-loop, and I have to think about that, what type of D-loop I'm going to run. Fitting a peep sight to it, and arrow rest and stabilizers, and getting this bow set up, and then shooting some scores with this bow, and seeing how it shoots at distance and at close distance, and see if it's ready to hopefully shoot some records.